In the Sandhills of Nebraska, just north of Maxwell, you'll find the perfect setting for raising cattle. Plenty of water supplied by the Ogallala Aquifer, and enough grass to feed an entire operation through tough Nebraska winters. It's also where Harry Haythorn decided to settle and start the Haythorn Ranch Company, the winner of this year's AQHA Best Remuda Award.
First time I saw it was when they brought the cattle, drove the cattle from Arthur to here. I came down from the north and it was black, you couldn't see from me to you. So really it was the next morning before I ever saw it. My dad was looking for a place. Ran into a friend of his that he knew. His name was Ned Burke. Asked my dad if I'd found a ranch yet. He said, no, I haven't found one yet. He said, I got one at Maxwell, I'll sell it. And they got off the train in North Platte and come down and he bought it and got back on the train, come home, told my mom and my sister and I'd start packing, was moving.
Howard Haythorn was only 13 when his father and he drove cattle to the ranch. Now, years later, it's Howard's son, Harry Byron, who helps him run the 1,500-head cow-calf operation.
My grandfather, Harry Haythorn, and his brother Walt, they split the cattle up and split the horses up. And then they just drove them from Ogallala. You know, he always said that, well, this is where I got my first sight of the ranch. And he said I couldn't see it very good because it was damn near dark, but this is where I caught the first sight of it. And I always think of that. And whenever I'm, up through there, I always kind of try to imagine, coming over the hill and dropping down in there and, thinking what it felt like. That is one of my favorite stories, and I know that may not seem like much to a lot of people, but I always remember that.
There have been a few changes to the ranch since that cold morning.
This building was here, but none of these were here. That house wasn't here, and that house wasn't here. So, it wasn't too well improved. And there was no water, well, no windmills. We got a creek that runs, it's what's called the Pawnee Creek. It comes down through the middle of the ranch. And in them pastures that, they'd have a pasture have 5,000 or 6,000 acres in it, maybe 2 or 3 windmills. Well, hell, they'd run out of water, so then they'd gather them, drive them to the creek and water them, drive them back, and it wasn't set up real good. But now we got windmills, so we don't have to do all that.
Through the years, however, there has been one consistency in the program: the American quarter horse.
I think it's 1939. They bought a bunch of American fillies, young fillies, yearlings and twos from Wagner's, and they were all culls. Really, they weren't really culls. They just was wire cut or something, blemished. And that's how we got started. And then my uncle bought a horse from Glenn Lowry at Lenape, Oklahoma, horse called Sport. And that's the first stud we had, and that's how we got started. One of the main horses was a horse called Eddie, and we still got Eddie horse. And one of the I guess maybe one of the best horses we had was a Happy Hancock, an old gray horse.
Today, the Remuda is mostly from Ranch Stallion's Rusty Gun 876 by AQHA World Show Super Horse Real Gun, Peppy San Kai by a son of Senor George, Snickle Fritz Mickey by Snickle Fritz Chex, and Mickey 612, a 3-year-old by Snickle Fritz Mickey. Just a few months ago, Peppy San Kai was struck by lightning.
We've always had horses. I grew up around horses and just thought everybody ought to have horses, and that's the only way to do it. And I know now that there are other ways to do it, but I don't think they're any better. And if you've got cows and a ranch, there's There's no way you can do it, in my opinion, without a horse.
And as long as Howard and Harry are around, that's the way it'll be.
Don't have any four-wheelers, and I guess as long as I'm standing here, there ain't gonna be any. I never seen anybody work cattle with a four-wheeler, or a doctor or sick calf. I don't need any four-wheelers. Don't need any helicopters. Just saddle horses.